Immigrant farm workers are not showing up on farms in the Rio Grande Valley in Texas, Florida, and California. In Texas, in particular, in the Rio Grande Valley, they produce many crops needed around the country, such as grapefruit, corn, citrus, oranges, all the vegetables, tomatoes, carrots, cabbage, onions are all grown here. And guess what? The undocumented workers are not showing up there. They're not showing up here in Florida, and they're not showing up in California.
And there's reports now that some farmers have 100% of their workers not showing up, and they're being forced to shut down. In South Texas, they grow grapefruit, they grow oranges, lots of different citrus varieties, leafy greens, onions, potatoes, peppers. So not only are the prices of what we can get going to go up at the grocery store, but also there's going to be massive food waste if there's nobody picking these crops when they're ready to be picked. I hope MAGA likes a diet of strictly processed foods.
So for all these farmers who voted against their own interests, especially these ones in Texas, they might be going to pick their fruits themselves because they voted against their own interests and against the immigrants who work in their farms. For all those MAGAs who said, oh, immigrants are taking away our jobs, maybe this is that time you all be waiting for, because the shelves are getting empty and people are rushing the food right now. If those farmers are not able to get immigrants or get workers on their farms, they will shut down for a very long time. Okay, imagine 100% of your staff not showing up, meaning that nobody actually came to work on that day. That's what it means. And you have to shut down because you cannot keep running a farm that nobody's coming to work on. Well guys, welcome back again to my channel. It's so good to have you. Thank you so much for clicking when you saw this video. So I'm going to let these videos roll, then I'll come back with my commentary. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Go ahead and subscribe if you have not, and don't forget to give the video a thumbs up so that more people can see it. And credit to all creators on this video. So let's go watch, then I'll come back with the commentary.
So there are reports coming out right now about farms in Texas losing nearly 100% of their staff due to immigrant workers not turning up because of fear of the ICE raids. So let's talk about that. Texas farms generate around $32 billion a year in revenue for the state, huge, valuable, and there's around 100,000 and there's hundreds of thousands of farm workers in Texas. And around 20–30% of those are foreign born, and around 17% of those are undocumented. So there's a lot of immigrants and a substantial number of undocumented immigrants. Now, the ICE raids have caused people to stay at home because of the fear that they're going to get deported. This means that farms are losing their staff. Some dairies have lost half their workers overnight. That's halts milk operations and also means the herd isn't being tended to. But it's not 100% of staff because less than 30% are immigrants in the first place. So we need to clarify 2 points. First of all, it is an issue because farms require a lot of manual labor. And even if you're losing 10% of the staff, that's going to be a bigger impact, but it's not 100%. Now, the reason it's a problem right now is this harvest is going on right now. So it's the winter wheat harvest, so it's planted in winter, gets harvested now, and around 50% of wheat could be harvested right now. And it's a critical phase. That's not going to happen if the staff aren't there. You then got a lot of fruit being harvested right now, cantaloupes, watermelons, peaches, plums, blackberries. They're all being harvested right now in either central or northern Texas. And these delays could either cause a loss of the crop or a reduced quality and therefore reduced revenue for the farmers. So it's actually quite a big issue. There's also secondary effects. So hay and silage is having troubles being harvested. That means there's going to be a long tail impact because the lack of hay now going to impact the feed supplies later on. You've also got problems with logistics, so haulage, delivery, and then food processing plants. So think about abattoirs, etc. If the immigrant workers don't turn up for that either, you're not going to be able to get the food processed even once it is going from the farm to the factory. So this is quite a big issue. Not 100% of staff, but it is a significant percentage of staff, which is going to impact food supplies.
So I just saw this video of this white man who's not MAGA, by the way, or at least he says he's not, but because he damn sure selling the look. But he says he has a fake account over on Twitter, and he joined this group of white farmers, and he's pretending to be MAGA just to see what they're talking about. So apparently they had this group chat or group call where the white MAGA farmers were upset and saying the only reason why they voted for Shitty Britches was because they thought the blacks didn't have jobs and the blacks would come back and work their fields. They thought they were going to get slavery back by voting for Shitty Britches. But they have been saying loud and proud with their chest that immigrants were taking their jobs. Yet, there are a couple of farms here in Texas that overnight lost 100% of their workforce. But immigrants was taking their jobs, right? Racism is expensive, huh?
Hello, Americans who like to eat. I'm Linda, and I want to talk about empty grocery shelves. They are coming, and sooner than we think. There's a 3,000 per day immigrant detention quota. 40% of farm workers in the United States are undocumented. You do the math. Farms are an excellent place to find undocumented immigrants to detain and deport, depleting the workforce. And now, those who haven't been rounded up are afraid to show up. Let's look at just one state, Texas. According to farmers, this issue has been affecting their farms for a couple of weeks, but overnight, it bottomed out. On several Texas farms, nearly 100% of farm workers aren't showing up. So what does that mean for you? Remember Trump's comment about having $2 instead of 30? Cows are milked 3 times a day. No workers, no milk, and some very unhappy cows. What if your grocery store, instead of getting 30 gallons of milk, gets 2? 28 families will not be able to buy milk. Now extrapolate that among produce. Produce that instead of being harvested is rotting on the vine. Texas is one of the top 10 producers of 40 major commodities. It is the 4th largest agriculture producer in the nation and 2nd in animal products. And it's not just cows not being milked and produce rotting on the vine. 1 in 7 Texans works in an agriculture-related job. If farms stop working, those jobs are affected. Workers not earning money aren't paying taxes. And yes, undocumented workers pay taxes. Without money coming in, they will cut back on things like restaurants and small businesses, movie theaters, wherever they spend their discretionary income. Last week, Trump ordered a halt to immigration enforcement at farms. But it may already be too late to solve the current problem. The lack of workers now mean farms won't hit full production this year. And if they lose planting now, there is nothing to harvest later. Yet, despite Trump's assurances, a few days after his statement, the administration resumed the raids. Vance says the administration plans to continue clearing the country of undocumented immigrants. Quote, we're enforcing everywhere. In other words, you ought to voluntarily go back and come through the proper channels, unquote. That can literally take years. And frankly, it doesn't protect you from being deported. In the meantime, the question remains, how long are you willing to go without food? Bye, Americans. Have a nice day.
Guys, let me ask this question, right? Because with all these videos coming out, I just keep wondering, is it really possible for somebody to think that the best way to hurt other people is to hurt themselves as well? Yes, because somehow these people were promised cheaper groceries, cheaper food and all of that. But all of a sudden, farmers are shutting down, right? They actually knew that if immigration happens to, if they start deporting a lot of people from the US, their farm workers are going to be affected. Yet they voted for mass deportation. And now that people are getting deported, a lot of them are not coming out to cry because they feel hurt by their own decision. Like, you made a decision for people to get deported. All of a sudden, you're feeling bad that that decision that you made is coming back to haunt you because you didn't plan it for yourself, but for other people. Now, food is going to go, like food, there might be food shortage somehow, because if these farmers are not able to get workers on their farms, then the food shortage is sure. Like, people are not going to be able to have enough to buy. Imagine going to groceries to go buy maybe like plenty gallons of milk and you're only able to get 2 or 1. Imagine you want bread, you're getting few. Imagine you want eggs, you're getting few eggs. You know, that was few months ago that people were complaining that there was no eggs, right? People were complaining about the price of eggs and how they can't even find it with their money, right? So this is exactly what a lot of people will be witnessing if this continues. If these farmers go ahead to shut down their farms, So shutting their farm is somehow okay to them now. They're feeling bad about it because they might not be making a lot of money. But the day you went out to go, vote against the immigrant workers that work in your farm was the day you decided not to have your farm running. Okay, and if you're not able to keep those farms active, somehow bigger corporations might end up buying them from you, and you will be losing farm that has been in your lineage for years. You guys remember that guy who was talking about how the particular farm has been in his lineage for years, about 150 years. But he actually voted against his own farm, against the grants that was coming to his farm, forgetting the fact that it was Joe Biden that his administration that wanted to give him grant for his farm. And it was at the last stage of it. And now that, this particular administration decided to cancel all grants and all of that, he came out crying and how he didn't hear it and how TikTok did not push it to him. And you'll be wondering, like, you were expecting the algorithm to do his job by bringing a particular content to you when you never searched for such content in the first place. While I feel sad that this is happening to these farmers, but let's be real, they caught this upon themselves. They are the ones that decided to vote against their own interests and the interests of others. So somehow there might be food shortage and it's going to affect everyone. Okay, unfortunately, even the people who didn't vote for this are also going to be affected. You guys actually intentionally decided to hurt other people. And now this food might also go into waste because nobody's there to pick those crops. Then the farmers, the whole immigrants are gone. So who is going to pick those crops? So those crops might go into waste, or they start giving it to people, come and pick up and take, right? For a cheaper amount or something. But this was not what they all voted for. They never thought it was going to affect them this bad. I don't know if you guys remember this farmer who was being interviewed about the whole tariff and all the immigration that is happening. And he said that he knew that this was going to happen, but he didn't know it was going to happen so soon. Like, what were you expecting when this person, his entire campaign was based on mass deportation and how he was going to increase the tariff from other countries? What were you expecting? And now you all are on the internet crying and wailing and seeking for help and all that, and now looking for workers. Why don't you go give your MAGA brothers those work? I think they are in better position to work for you better because they understand what you're going through. So what else can they do for you? They're your brothers. So yeah, this was exactly what everybody was trying to tell you all, that it was going to happen, that the cost of food was going to go up. You all were just looking at the immediate, oh, we want cheap groceries, we want cheap eggs, we want cheap this, we want cheap that. You forgot that all those things were going to come if every policy is well managed, if he has better policies that was going to change a lot of things. But now that immigration is hitting the farm workers, some of them will not show up to work because of this. They are scared of coming so that ICE does not pick them up, knowing fully well that lots of people who are undocumented work more on farms. So to get them is very easy. So they decided not to show up at all. I feel so bad for these farmers, but it is what it is. Guys, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Okay, let's have that conversation in the comment section. Please do subscribe to my channel if you have not already. And don't forget to give the video a thumbs up so that more people can see it. I look forward to seeing you all on my next video. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. See you next time. Bye, guys.